9 with breaking news out of Thurston County. A massive search is underway for this man accused of shooting at sheriff deputies with an AR-15 during a chase. This is all happening near Tenino by the Chehalis Western Trail and Offutt Lake. King 5's Jim Nelson is live tonight with the very latest on this manhunt. And Jim, what are the updates?
Well, we actually just heard from Thurston County Sheriff Derek Sanders, who said this is still an ongoing and, as you mentioned, massive manhunt. They've set up a command post at the intersection of Stedman and Waldrick. This is a pretty wooded area, so you can imagine the challenges that they're facing, especially now as night has fallen. Both Sheriff Sanders as well as neighbors acknowledging that this could be a while, and they have been out here for hours. There's a SWAT vehicle. There are at least a dozen law enforcement vehicles here that have been on scene. The search, we don't believe, is confined to just this specific area, just given the amount of time that has passed and given what you typically hear about, flight versus fight type of thing with somebody who is now wanted and presumed armed and dangerous. They could be anywhere, and that's coming from law enforcement itself. This is a person who Sheriff Sanders says has a history of stealing vehicles. They have concerns that he may have already stolen a vehicle and really could be anywhere. Again, we'll give you another look at the suspect. It is Damian Madison, a 27-year-old with multiple felony warrants. This started as a police chase in Grays Harbor County, eventually wound up here in Thurston County. At one point, Sheriff Sanders says this man, Madison, fired an AR-15 from a vehicle at sheriff's deputies. Unclear how many times it hit the vehicle, but it actually disabled that cruiser. No deputies, however, were hit. This man, Madison, last seen wearing a black t-shirt and black hat with a red bill, also has a tattoo over his right eye. We'll show you some video in daylight just to get a little bit better idea of the scene and to give you an idea of how long this has been going on. Sheriff Sanders, in his briefing just a few moments ago, said that the suspect, Damian Madison, was actually the passenger in a vehicle. The driver was taken into custody, and at some point during this chase, the suspect, Madison, was let out, and that's when he was able to take off, and that's kind of where things are right now. A massive manhunt for somebody that the Thurston County Sheriff's Office says should be considered armed and dangerous. Again, we specifically talked about that notion of fight or flight, the desperation mode that sometimes kicks in when somebody is on the run. Sheriff Sanders said that certainly is a concern that they have, and he said, and I quote, "It won't end peacefully." We'll have much more coming up at 10 o'clock. Live in Thurston County, Jim Nelson, King 5 News.